are having issues providing, if we have issues providing enough water to residential customers, what's the priority in relationship to this agreement?
In our conservation plan, when we hit our second stage, then we can start curtailing New Century. And then that's why it's very important that they maintain a supply from Olathe. Generally, except in peak summer months, we have no problem whatsoever supplying. In fact, it's actually a benefit to us. Number one, they're a very easy to service wholesale customer. Number two, they keep the plant running at minimum levels. But if we do run into a situation where it's customers or city customers versus New Century, we can curtail.
Have we ever had to do that?
We have on occasion, yes.
Okay.
Is this moving upstream or downstream?
As far as
The service line of the bulk water. So when we, go ahead.
we basically pump out, I'm not sure I understand your question. We basically pump from Hillsdale, comes in our 18-inch supply line to about the 183rd Street water tank, and then it's a 12-inch line that works its way up to
Back up.
Century.
Okay.
So while the contract is 20 years, the rate change ability is every year.
It's annual, right.
It's tied to the current rates, tied to
Right.
the residential rates.
So,
You know,
sorry, if we, with this 20-year contract, if eventually we get to the point where our costs are more than what Olathe is offering, I'm assuming they have the right to back out, or do they not?
they would not have to take from us if they chose not to.
Okay.
You know,
The contract would still be in place, they just wouldn't, they'd
Exercise.
exercise.
that is correct, yes.
That's a good, our contract doesn't require them to purchase any water from us, it's just we can provide it at a better rate than after they meet their minimums.
Right. We have to be able to supply them at a certain minimum rate.
Right.
Amount. I mean, we have to, I can't remember exactly, Jim,
It's about 300,000 gallons a day.
is the rate that they would like to have as our minimum.
Sure.
However, they can elect not to take it also.
Gotcha.
Have they ever done that?
On occasion, there have been a few times. We were having some issues years ago. But it mainly stems back from the days with the Old Navy plant, which was a very archaic process, and we had some issues there probably 8 years ago.
If they choose not to do that, so if they go, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks without taking water, does that cause us any issues
No.
from a cost, nothing that we're doing that we would have to stop doing?
No, we would
Okay.
just run at a
Okay.
lower rate, yes.
Lower production rate.
Lower production rate. Mhm.
Okay.
So the $202,000 budget amount, that's revenue
That is correct.
instead of income. So what is the income number, I guess, profit?
The profit?
Yeah.
Well,
I know there's nearly no profit, but if they're,
well, right now, our production rate, since it's a wholesale customer, it's fairly, as we, in the council action form, it's $2.23, plus if you go ahead and add in a number for
So 240.
administration, you're dealing with about $2.44,
46.
and we're selling at $2.75, so you're looking at approximately 30 cents a 1,000 gallons.
So we're about
And
3% profit line on that, so at 202, you're, what's that?
And-
$6,000 in profit.
so 30 cents profit for how many gallons?
Per
The
1,000.
new rate.
Oh, right, but I mean, how many gallons do we expect to sell them, did you say?
The usage would be 74, oh geez. This is always,
74,
people love to stump me with math. Most folks know that I usually can't do math in my head, so I play a good comic foil after a while. 74 million, call it 75 million thousand gallons. Is that right?
No, it's just a total of 74 million gallons.
74
Thank you.
million gallons, 300K a day.
You know, I'm an engineer, I'm terrible with math in my head, so.
You're in the positive.
what's that?
You're in the positive.
So $300,000, or 300,000 gallons a day times 30 cents.
Thank you.
Yes, you're in a positive.
What would be the derivative of that if you,
You know, I took,
I bet you're really good at that.
Calculate that.
you know, actually, I took 3 semesters of calculus. It took me 5 semesters to get there. And I can use first semester sort of, kind of. I think I did some moment distribution one time with it, but, no.
Well, if that's a net,
$90.
that's an actual cost, it's about 13% markup.
Yeah.
roughly.
You're okay.
Okay. How would council like to proceed with new business item number 5?
I move we authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with New Century Air Center for the sale of bulk water.
Second.
Motion Harrison, second Freeman, that we authorize the mayor to execute an agreement for the sale of bulk water to New Century Air Center. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, David. New business item number 6 is an executive session. So if we, before we go into executive session, does staff have anything for council? David?
Actually, they do, we've got a pretty good winter storm coming in, probably Wednesday evening. We've basically got all 5 or 7 operational equipment, our material spreaders ready to go. We've got crews lined up. We're running a little short due to one transfer and a couple of emergency absences. Leave has been canceled for a couple of other fellows. We've got Parks and Recreation and the meter readers who have been helping us on alert. So we will adapt as the storm comes in and materializes. We're looking probably late Wednesday night, maybe Thursday night. But we've got equipment ready to go, and we're getting our staffing is lined up.
Mike, you don't happen to have a CDL, do you? Okay, well, hopefully they'll be wrong.
We hope so.
We hope so.
We could use some moisture.
Yes, we could.
Yes.
Anyone else? Council, anything for staff?
I've got something, I was talking with a constituent earlier today, and she was, and I know that this is something that has been discussed on and off through the years, the speed limit on South Gardner Road coming in from the interstate. One of the things that she pointed out to me is that we go from 35 miles, if you're heading south on Gardner Road, the speed limit goes from 35 to 45 right before you get to the crosswalk at the Veterans Park. And it doesn't dial down to 35 until you get north of that crosswalk. And with 183rd Street, people are always talking about getting traffic lights or things there. And my guess is that maybe a lower speed might be in order, but I don't remember when the last time was that this was looked at, and I was wondering if somebody could give me a little information or get information to me so that I could follow up with the constituent.
I think we'd be happy to report. I can say it was about 2008, the speed was adjusted based on a speed study conducted by a traffic engineering company.
Okay, yeah, if you could get that information to me, I'd like to be able to share that with her.
But, you know, going one step further, I've never thought that 45 miles an hour in a residential area, especially also a truck route, is a good idea. I don't know, I mean, we can certainly control that, dial it back to 40 miles an hour. I mean, I know the way the study was done, as I recall, is you take the 95th percentile what people drive, which never made any sense to me, because if you know, you set a speed limit and then 95% of the people drive 5 miles over, that means you have to adjust it upward even another 5 miles per hour, right? I mean, if that's...
Well, it's actually the 85th percentile.
Okay, 85th, sorry.
But that is the concept, is there's a certain point where, except for regulatory issues, but generally on an arterial road, which Center Street is, people are going to drive, and if the road is such that It's safe to drive on it, it's designed for it.